In this video, we are going to be ranking all the Harry Potter games that have been released from best to worst. Now, before we get into the ranking, I just want to let you guys all know is that I haven't played all the Harry Potter games that have been released. Now, I will be adding in Hogwarts Legacy into the list. I have still played majority of the games, but not all of them. So the games that I have not played is Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. I haven't played any of the Lego Creator Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets that was released in 2002, and I haven't played the Lego Creator Harry Potter game. Have not played Book of Spells or the Book of Potions and the Harry Potter for Connect. So coming in at last at number 8 is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This was a 2005 action-adventure video game published by Electronic Arts. It is based on the events of the characters in the novel and film, with the player controlling Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, and Ron Weasley. This game was released for Game Boy Advance, GameCube, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PlayStation Portable. It received mixed reviews from critics, with reviewers enjoying the scope of the spells and gameplay, but being less impressed by the short length and the lack of free roaming components found in the previous installments. Now, this game I did not complete. I got near to the end, but I really hated this game. Like, I've only played this once, and I've played back this a few times, over the years. I've gone onto my old PC, loaded the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and have just played it, and I've just think about, this is a load of rubbish. Like, I generally hated this game so much. Like, the whole art and how it was made and what you meant to do, it was just below average. And it was just really rock bottom that I found that since I thought that this was a 2005 game, that these games would actually improve a lot more. Since I thought it was 2005, and since they're advancing in technology by that time, I thought this game would have been a lot better and a lot more exciting. But it hit rock bottom, and I don't want to speak about this much anymore because it is just an awful game. Coming in at 7th, and now this is a very controversial thing, but it is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, this was actually the second Harry Potter game I actually played growing up. I played Chamber of Secrets first, but this game I thought was alright. I didn't think it was bad, but this was obviously the very first game that was released. Now, this game was released in 2001. It's based off the film, as all these other games are. It was released for the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Microsoft Windows, and PlayStation. A different game bearing the same name was made 2 years later for GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox in December 2003. So it is basically the same game, so that's why I haven't done a PC and a PlayStation version. As you will see later in the video, Chamber of Secrets has a PlayStation version and a PC version. The versions on different platforms differ greatly from each other and do not follow the same level structures or gameplay, with somewhat varied storytelling as well. So the game received, again, mixed reviews. Critics commented on the game's accessible gameplay and its unimpressive graphics in the 2003 version, while others said the game license would only be the one thing to draw in fans. The PlayStation version sold 8 million copies by May 2003, which would be Argonaut's best-selling game and one of the best-selling PlayStation video games of all time. Now, this is obviously the start of PlayStation, so this was one of the biggest games that had to release, and this was the very start of Harry Potter. Now, in the PC version, the game is played like a third-person action and puzzle game. The story follows the exact same progression and the similar levels and specific end goals. Now, since this was the very first game of Harry Potter's game, basically you could say collection and trilogy of things that were coming out, this game obviously wasn't expecting to start off with such banging. Everyone knew that it was going to go off by the story, and since this was brand new for the gaming industries, this was obviously back in the day amazing to play. Since I played this a little bit later, I thought this wasn't as good. That's why I felt it's at 7th. So I think if you've actually played this very first, you'd have this a lot higher in the list. This game did obviously sell very well and was very bright. The reviews were going okay, but everything other than that was really good. I've only played it once, so I don't remember so much over the top of my head, but it was still a enjoyable experience. I played it on the PC. The PlayStation versions I just didn't enjoy. Now coming in at 6 is the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets PlayStation 2. Now this game I didn't like. So it was the exact similar reason to the last one with Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone, because I didn't like how the PlayStation ones looked. I preferred how the PC one, the PC one always just flowed a lot better. But I'll get into that a little bit later down the video. And it just seemed like the game was just a lot less developed, and the storyline wasn't as enjoyable. I felt that the graphics were not as good. Just everything about it just felt a little bit unsure. It did do really good in its sales as well. It was released in the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox as well. You could also access a broom and enter free flight mode, while the PlayStation 2 allows the player to land anywhere they want. In the Xbox and GameCube version, the landing zones are limited. In the GameCube version, there is an exclusive feature involving GC-GBA connectivity that allows a secret room to be opened in the GC version when connected with the GBA version of the game. Now, the game received mostly positive reviews, but this was more so for the PC version. The Xbox version sold over 100,000 copies. And with the PlayStation version, it sold over 700,000 copies and earned 28 million in the United States. And that game, the PlayStation 2 version, got ranked 89th of the highest selling game launched for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube between the years January 2000 and July 2006 in the United States. So overall, it did do good. It's just that I didn't like it that much. Now coming in at number 5 is Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4. Now, if you guys know me through the streams, I am a big Years 1 to 4 person. I live and breathe those films. I love 3 of those films are in my top favorite. I will do a Harry Potter ranking soon. The reason why I thought that this was just at number 5th and it's only just not 4th is just because of the year. Since this was released a little bit earlier to years 5 and 7, years 5 and 7 got a little bit more developed, and years 1 to 4 wasn't as developed. The graphics weren't as good, the gameplay wasn't as good. I thought it was a lot more humor in 5 and 7 compared to the 1 and 4. I always love Lego games because they thrive off their humor, which is really good for the game. Now, this did release in 2010, so with the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, later down when it got released, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Wii, Nintendo Switch. And now Lego's Harry Potter's gameplay is similar to most previous Lego video games, with the emphasis of collecting, exploring, and solving puzzles. Casting spells an integral part of the gameplay, with a wide range of spells available for unlocking as the player progresses. As there are many spells available in the game, the player can use the spell wheel to select the spell. Potion making is another integral feature. Potions can help the player complete levels if created incorrectly, have adverse side effects such as turning the player into a frog. And the game also employed the 2-player split screen technique introduced in Lego Indiana Jones 2. There is also an online support for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The plotline of the game differs from that of the books and the film several times in order to have at least 2 characters in each level. For example, Hermione accidentally joins Harry during the first task of the Triwizard Tournament, which was unlike the book and the film, where Harry fights the dragon alone. Now, the game did receive generally positive reviews. Video game review aggregator website Game Ranking scored the game at 81%, with media review aggregator website Medtronic scoring slightly lower at 80%. The official Nintendo magazine gave Wii and Nintendo DS version 80%, saying that it was one of the best Harry Potter games ever. However, it lacked originality compared to previous Lego video games. And now that is something I do find very truthfully. It did lack a lot of humor. It lacked I feel like the Lego industry guideline. I feel like there's a guideline with Lego industry, and I feel like they weren't quite there yet. Now, coming in at number 4 is Lego Harry Potter Years 5 to 7, and this was released in 2011, 1 year after Years 1 and 4 was released. Now, this was obviously released on the 11th of November 2011, and this was obviously based off the final 3 books and 4 films in the Harry Potter film series: Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. The game was released on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, Wii, Nintendo DS, Nintendo 3DS, Microsoft Windows, iOS, and Android. Then this game was released on Steam on the 5th of January 2012, which was about 2 months after the release of the game. Then the game was released for the PlayStation 4 on the 21st of October 2016 as part of the Lego Harry Potter collection. And then Lego Harry Potter Years 1 to 4 was also released for the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch on the 30th of October 2018. The game received generally positive reviews, especially to the humor added to the game's narrative. This was the one biggest thing that Years 1 to 4 I didn't think succeeded too well, was the humor. The humor in Years 5 to 7 was so funny. I loved every part of it, especially as a child. I especially think that this game got a lot more positive review was because it got released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One a lot earlier than the Years 1 to 4, and it was open to a lot more people having the PlayStation 3s and the Xbox 360s, because a lot of people, when the Years 1 to 4 would have been out, is a lot of people would have had PlayStations 2 still, or they would have had the old gen, and it would be like nowadays how people are trying to find the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. They're still trying to get more people for it. IGN gave Lego Harry Potter Years 5 to 7 an 8 out of 10. He praised the humorous cutscenes, the use of the film's music tracks, the amount of gameplay available after the main adventure is clear, and the game is simple enough for anyone to pick up and play. That is a very, very good point as well that IGN did point out there, is that there was so much to do after the main storyline. You had so many side missions to do, you had so many building little options you can do. It just seemed like an open world Lego game that you could play. It was one of the most enjoyable times I've had, especially as growing up as a big Harry Potter fan and loving everything Harry Potter-y. And I obviously love Lego games that are suited for specific audiences. So if they're suited for me, I'll get it and I'll play it. And they are a lot of fun. Obviously, I think nowadays, since I'm a lot older, maybe the humor may not get me anymore, but you never know. Now, coming in at number 3 now, which is the game I have actually played the second most, is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is coming in at number 3rd. Now, this game I thought was brilliant. I loved it on the PC. I played it so much. I did get scared of the Dementors though a lot when I was a kid. I was screaming through my house, and it was a very, very funny time for my parents especially, and they were very confused with what was going on. I had a lot of nightmares for the Dementors, and I had a big fright of the Dementors, but I did overcome that after I completed the game like 6 or 7 times. Nowadays, I actually can't play the game anymore because it's glitching when the imps throw their crackers at you, and it just glitches once you're doing the Carpe Retractum spell course, or like dungeon or whatever they call it there. But Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban did really well. This game was released in 2004. This was obviously going off by the, like every other Harry Potter game was going off by the story. This was released on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. Now, this game did receive mixed or average reviews. which is something I was surprised about reading up about. I definitely think this gets really good reviews. A lot of people were scoring it 7 out of 10, or across releases with a high 7.5 out of 10 for the GPA versions. There's a lot of 7 to 7.5 out of 10, but for me, I thought it was a really good game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, this is similar to the game of Chamber of Secrets on PC, different versions, but obviously this was a little bit more advanced and advanced graphics and a little bit more open world, I would say, and a lot more mini games I think you can play in this, and this allowed. But it was a very short game, but I got to finish it when I was obviously a kid. I didn't finish it quick enough, but when I did play it recently, when I think it was maybe 2018, when I was working, I finished it in maybe 4 hours, and that was it. And yeah, pretty easy game, but enjoyable. Now, coming in at number 2, which is my all-time favorite, childhood games, which was the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets PC. Now, this was an action-adventure video game. It was based on a 2002 film of the same name. The game's core gameplay is straightforward, taking control of Harry. The player explores Hogwarts castle and grounds. Throughout the course of the game, the player will encounter events that tie into the storyline of the second book, filling the gaps between these events of various classes, where the player will learn how to fly a broomstick, learn new spells for combating bosses, among other things. Each new spell is accompanied by a challenge, which the player must get through in a certain amount of time to complete that class period. During the later parts of the game, the player will face challenges which are not time limited and are not related to learning spells. These challenges are all based on events from the book. For example, traveling into the Forbidden Forest and gathering ingredients for a potion Hermione is making. Now, this was obviously released on PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and the GameCube, PC, the Mac, Game Boy Color, but we're mainly going to talk about the PC and the PlayStation versions are completely different. The PC version of the game, which was created by a different developer than the console versions, features completely different levels in gameplay from the console cousins. The game features the same graphics and character design as Philosopher's Stone. It also retains some of the spells learned in previous games and involved the player learning new spells by attending more classes at the game. This game received so many positive reviews. This game was selling so much over it, and the PC version sold so much. It sold over 1 million copies, and it earned $35 million in the US. This was an incredible number for the Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets PC. I love this game because of the diversity we had for it. We legitimately had everything you could think of in Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets to do in the game. I love the dueling classes. I love flying on the broomstick. I love doing the tournaments of Quidditch. I love just going up to Fred and George and asking for cards or asking for like frogs or anything. I love the intro. I loved the intro going into the Whomping Willow. It was just incredible how the game was. Like, since Chamber of Secrets, is my favorite film of all time, this made it, like, I was just loving every bit of it. And this is one of the reasons why I love this game so much, is because it's my favorite Harry Potter film, and 2, is the diversity of it. This game was perfect. Everything it had for it. I loved when we got the change into Crabbe and Goyle and you get to go into the Slytherin common room. That was epic. I loved it. It was a bit dark and it was creative. It was a little bit difficult and it was a well-earned game. Now, obviously, I can't actually get it onto my PC anymore. I still have the disc and I still have it all, but for some reason it just will not go on. But I'm guessing because it's so old, I've got such new things. The new things doesn't take that old things anymore. But anyway, but for the very first one is gonna be Hogwarts Legacy. Without a doubt, this game is going to be, I think, the best game of Harry Potter's gaming thing for a very long time. I don't think Harry Potter will be able to make a game better than Hogwarts Legacy. I think Avalanche have got the best type of way to make a Harry Potter game. Yes, you could make a Harry Potter style like Battlefront thing, but I don't think that's going to really happen one day because I don't think it's really suited for Harry Potter. Now, we obviously the game hasn't released yet, but I'm pretty confident that this game will be my #1 favorite game. This game has just got so much potential. It's gonna have so much up and downs. I know it, but I think it's gonna the ride's gonna be so fun, and especially doing content towards this game has just been an amazing ride for me. I know this video has been a little bit long, but I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so that is my ranking there, and I'm sorry if it was a little bit too long. I will try and cut it up the best I can. Hopefully you guys are still watching. If you guys are watching, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Like, I want to really get into this Harry Potter community right now. It's been one of my dreams to try and persuade and give you guys the best content, and just let you guys enjoy watching, you know, wherever you are, and just to hopefully put a smile and information into your face, or just to entertain your day. I really appreciate that, and taking your time to support me in my my dreams to hopefully do this you know, later down the track. But really appreciate everyone joining the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, wands at the ready.